We are back at it with part 2 of Soju Talk, episode 116, where we discuss recent K-pop news and events, miss out on a visit from Cousin Harold, and give you the state of the nation. We'll explain later. But the news and events from last week, there are 3 big topics this week. So the first one, changes to Korea's enlistment policy. All right, let me zoom in on my script a little so I can read better. All right. On Tuesday, December 1st, the Korean National Assembly passed a bill to amend the Military Service Act. According to the revision, quote, a pop culture artist who has been recommended by the Minister of Culture, Sports, and Tourism to have greatly enhanced the image of Korea both within the nation and throughout the world would be allowed to postpone their military service until the age of 30. Before the revision, the Military Service Act only gave deferral exemptions to elite athletes, award-winning classical musicians, and those enrolled in PhD programs abroad. In terms of voting, out of a possible 268 votes, 253 voted in favor, 2 not in favor, and 13 abstaining. So overwhelmingly, people wanted this to happen. On both sides of how many aisles there are in Korea, because I know there's more than just 2 political parties. Previously, in August of 2018, the maximum age of Korean males that Korean males can delay their mandatory military service was reduced by 2 years from 30 to 28, and that applied to all males. So it seems like they went from 30 to 28, and then people weren't happy, so now they moved it back up to 30 for specific entertainers in Korea, more or less, and then athletes and things like that. For reference, BTS received the Order of Cultural Merit 5th class from Korean President Moon Jae-in in 2018. The Order of Cultural Merit is considered the highest honor in the fields of culture and art. This is a big award.
Yeah.
This is a top tier. It's pretty much the highest thing you can get from the government. Additionally, the following male K-pop artists have received other commendations from the South Korean government officials since 2010. So the next one down is called the Prime Minister's Commendation, and that has been received by JYJ, SHINee, G-Dragon, and EXO. And then the Minister of Cultural, Sports, and Tourism's commendation has gone to Super Junior, Big Bang, J.A., CM Blue, Beast, SHINee, EXO, BTS, B2B, Monsta X, and NCT 127. All right, let's talk about this. Clearly, this has implications for BTS. That's the reason this is in play. That's the elephant in the room. I think this is really going to affect, first of all, Jin, because he was the one who was most likely to go soon because he's the oldest. I think the more interesting thing here is who else does this affect, right?
Yeah.
There are some EXO guys who aren't in the military. None of BTS is in the military. B2B, all of them have already gone. Monsta X, no one has gone yet. And of course, NCT 127 as the youngest on this list, no one has gone yet. The way this revision is going to work is basically the Minister of Culture, Sports, and Tourism is going to pretty much put you on a list, right? And say, you can go when you're 30, you can defer 2 years.
Right.
I know that all of the groups that we mentioned have won the award from the Minister of Culture, Sports, and Tourism, but that doesn't mean they're going to get recommended by him, right? I think they're independent things here. It means that they're likely to, but it doesn't mean it's set in stone that they will, right? We'll have to see going forward. It's interesting. What do you think of it as a Korean national, Warren?
I think it's interesting. I like, on one level, I like that they're being flexible with it. Because because the industry changes so fast, I don't think setting one standard to rule it all is a good idea. So I like that they're being flexible with it. I would like to see some level of consistency with it if they do go ahead and start adding more people to the list. I'm sure they will, and they really should. At the end of the day, they're not like skipping out of the duty. They're getting a
delay.
A delay essentially. So I don't see a huge problem with this.
Yeah, I kind of see it personally. I think BTS, very obvious. Like, do it. Period. That makes sense to me. I think as long as someone has received at least the commendation from the minister level, right? Because that's the lowest of the 3. If they're consistent with that, if you win that award, you get the exemption. I'm okay with that because then it sets a standard, right? You get this, you get it. It's sort of like with the athletes. you get a gold at the Olympics or a gold at the Asia Games, you're generally exempt. Like, you get a full exemption, but in terms of the artist, they're only getting a delay, right? So for me, if you get that commendation from the Minister of Culture, Sports, and Tourism, I think, and they're fairly consistent about that, I'd be okay with that, right? Because there's a certain level you have to reach, and it's fair for everyone, and you know what you have to do. I think if they make it more random, it's like a lot more uncertainty then.
I think it will also incite some more division, I think. Like, I'm sure like it's not like the biggest concern, right, of the government, like fans that are disputing within themselves, but it does affect the groups. So I feel like it would cause more trouble for people if there is like random, or I guess quote unquote random choosing.
Public perception too, right? If it's fairly standardized, I don't think you can complain all too much. If it's like this minister's just picking random people, I think there'll be a lot of backlash and problems with this.
That's what is honest. That's where the internet comments are a little concerned about at the moment, because that obviously this is a sensitive topic for the society in general. So several people are concerned about like unfair advantages and whatnot. That's obviously been the meta for like the press the last couple of years. So this kind of falls into that a little bit as well. Lots of people also in very the law was the bill was like advertised in the media as like the BTS military delay law bill. People weren't really happy with that because they're like, why are you putting my idol's name on the thing? So I think the way they handled it could have been done a little better, to be frank.
I think it would have been better if they had just put out the concrete wording at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
If they had just
Very
said, this is
clear.
the bar. If you pass it, you get the delay.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
The way they have it now, it's uncertain. And you know, with uncertainty, there's room for corruption. There's room for bribery, other things, unsavory things in the industry. And they will probably happen if there's that much uncertainty. We'll have to see. I do think, though, because everyone's eyes are really on this bill, there's going to be some form of clarity because, you know, everyone's paying attention to this. What's going to happen with
There
it.
needs to be.
But at the end of the day, sometimes Korea is just corrupt, so we'll have to see, right? Sort of related, the Service Pension and Disaster Compensation Act, which states that the government will restrict the survivor's pension for families who never raised their children, was also passed on the same day. Notably, this is also known as the Guhara Act, because if you remember, her mother was trying to get some of her assets, even though she wasn't a part of her life. Her brother's side, who was the main proponent of this, has succeeded in getting this through, and I think that's great because
Nice.
Nice.
rest in peace, Guhara. It was a tough road, and I think the family gets a lot of closure through this as well. The people who actually cared for her.
Right.
So I think overall a positive act.
Go stink a butt, Guara's mom.
Yeah. Next, K-pop awards season is fully upon us, guys.
Time of the year.
We're going to talk about the MMA Awards, which is the Melon Music Awards, and then Mama, which is the Mnet Asian Music Awards. But let's start with Melon. So the 2020 MMA Awards completed the MMA week from December 2nd to the 5th and have announced this year's winners and top artists. The Melon Music Awards, which is in its 12th year, has established itself as one of the 4 big music shows in South Korea, well, music award shows in South Korea, alongside Mama, Golden Disc Awards, and the Seoul Music Awards. The Melon Music Awards is noted for its emphasis on digital sales and the public vote to determine its winners, which kind of makes sense because of what Melon is as a company. BTS came home big winners this year, sweeping all available daesangs for the second year in a row. The group took home Artist of the Year, Album of the Year for Map of the Soul 7, and Song of the Year for Dynamite. The top 10 award was given to Baekhyun, Baekhyun, Blackpink, BTS, Im Young-woon, who was the winner of Trot, Mr. Trot, IU, IZ*ONE, Kim Ho-jung, Oh My Girl, and Zico. And then new artist of the year, which is their rookie of the year, went to Gravity and Weekly. Of course, there are tons of other awards. You can look them up online yourselves. So on the Discord, we watched both the MMA awards and Mama. They were watching before I woke up, and I wake up at like 5 a.m, and they were already watching this, right?
Jesus.
I think MMA went like 4 hours and change. Mama went 6 hours.
Oh my
It
god.
was so
Oh
long.
my.
The main difference between the two shows I saw, Mama had way better stages. For me, they had special stages. Like Jesse and Hwasa did Gang. They did a
Oh.
remix of Gang. There were other cool stuff I'll talk about
Whoa.
once we get to Mama. The main thing that stood out to me was that the Melon Music Awards had so much trot. There were so many trot stages. They had all of the trot 6, which are the top 6 of Mr. Trot were there. Like half of the performances on the second half of the show were trot. It was crazy.
I mean, considering trot is like the biggest like musical trend in
Yeah.
Korea right now. Like I'm
Yeah.
not too
Big.
surprised. Right, like you did point out that Im Young-un was top number 1 in the top 10. Kim Ho-jung's also on that show. He was also a trot singer. And given how much media influence they have right now, right? Like
Yes.
nowadays, if you have one of those like top 6 boys on your show, dude, instant ratings, instant eyes on your product. So like from that
So-
perspective, I think it totally makes a lot of sense.
MMA also talked about what trended in 2020. I thought it was interesting. The 5 things were the Any Song Challenge. Number
Totally.
2
Of course.
was Trotman 6, so the 6 Trot winner guys. Number 3 was
Yeah.
Gang and memes. Both shows had to explain what
Yes.
memes were. It was weird. They gave definitions of memes.
Man.
Number 4 was Begasus, or like actor singers, essentially. They said.
Oh.
And then the 5th one, I don't know what the translation, but bouquet.
Bouquet?
Yeah.
Like bouquet? And marriages? Weddings?
I don't know what they meant by that. They had an explanation during the show.
Okay.
But
let me look this up real quick. Wait,
they also brought up like SOC 3 and things like that. So that might have something to do with that.
you said MMA, right?
Yeah, MMA 2020 hot trend. If you could figure out what that 5th one was, Warren, explain it to me, because I really don't remember what they were talking about. But let's move on to Mama. So the 2020 Mnet Asian Music Awards were held on Sunday, December 6th. It was a long slog of 6 hours, but just know that MMA has a supercut that's 2 hours long of just the performances.
Wow.
And then Mama also has all of the performances on YouTube as well, so go check those out. But BTS also swept all available day songs for the second year in a row at Mama as well.
My
They won
goodness.
Artist of the Year, Album of the Year for Map of the Soul 7, Song of the Year for Dynamite, and Worldwide Icon of the Year. BTS in total won 10 awards at Mama. Just saying. The best male and female group awards were won by BTS and Blackpink. The Worldwide Fans Choice Top 10 was given to NCT, Treasure, TXT, GOT7, ATEEZ, 17, Mamamoo twice, BTS, and Blackpink. And then finally, Best New Artist was won by Treasure and Weekly.
Let's go, Weekly.
I forgot to do all the E's in the MMA section, but that was that. But there were some big K-pop developments at Mama as well. The boys, ATEEZ, and Stray Kids have been confirmed for Mnet's Kingdom.
Ooh.
Oh
Man.
boy, okay.
Mnet is aiming to broadcast the show in the first half of 2021, but there is no exact date for filming yet. So, and those are only 3 groups. Basically, there was a collaboration stage between the boys, ATEEZ, and Stray Kids, which ended up with 3 of the kids, 1 from each of them. The only one I really knew was Hyunjin from Stray Kids was one of them. They did this whole like battle concept, and it ended up with all of them like looking at the crown in the middle. Like,
Oh.
Oh boy,
so
okay.
we were watching this. We're like, this got to be Kingdom. And then at the end, the logo for Kingdom shot up on a black screen. So we're like,
Wow.
oh, and everyone lost their minds, right? who would have thought that a group as big as Stray Kids is gonna show up on this show, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
I
big
guess
shocker
so.
for me.
Yeah. I mean, I said this before the show, but like you gotta think like Park Bom was on Queendom, so like who knows what's gonna be on Kingdom?
Anything
like,
is possible.
Oh my god,
Anything is possible.
The 3 of us had such a big argument before the show about who we think's gonna be on Kingdom. Some of the groups that ended up, we thought, like we were thinking like AB6, CIX. Anita was really adamant that she doesn't think TXT and Hypen will be on there. You know, I think it's debatable. We were also saying, what if we have some older groups on there? Maybe Monsta
Yeah.
X shows up.
True.
Maybe 17 with all their dudes shows up, and they're like, we just gonna win.
Highlight.
Yeah, Warren was saying like highlight B1A4, really old groups.
Who knows? Infinite. Who knows? You know,
We
like,
might get like B2B subunit for you showing up. Who knows?
true.
That's
yeah,
possible.
right? That might happen.
We could get Block B.
We were also thinking there's an outside chance of maybe solo artist, maybe Kang Daniel shows up by himself.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. Let us know who you think is going to show up on Kingdom, because typically there's about 6 acts, so we only have about 3 of them so far. We'll have to see.
I found what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, what is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Buke. Bu means sub. K is short for character, so that's sub character, secondary character, Smurf accounts. You know how like Yuzatok in 놀면 뭐하니, Play With You had characters that he was playing, you know?
Okay, so the best example I could give is who's Mami-son? I forgot. Mad Clown.
Mad Clown.
So it's like having an alter ego in the scene. Is that
Right,
what
right.
they're saying?
I see.
Right.
That makes sense.
That was the
Okay,
thing,
so that was
because
the
a lot
first
of
one.
artists did that this year. Like Kim
Yeah.
Shin-young, who's a
Yeah.
gag woman comedian, did that. Like she's like, "Oh, I'm Auntie Kim. Let me sing my
Obviously-
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah, like-
the SOC 3 and the Refund Expedition people, they were all like alter egos on
Yes.
that as well.
Right.
So that's what they were That makes so much more sense. Lastly, at Mama, Twice performed an unreleased track titled "Cry for Me," and today it was announced on their Twitter and social media pages that "Cry for Me" is coming soon for Twice, and included the word "pre-release" in the post.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, oh, the whole time I was reading that. Number one, go check out the Mama stage. It's a really good song. We'll have to see. Warren, what do you
feel
think?
I feel like it's gonna be whatever they're coming up with is gonna be a repackage. Title track 1. Sorry, the new title is gonna be track 1. This pre-release "Cry for Me" is gonna be track 2, and then it's gonna go into the regular album track order. That's what I
Hey,
think.
if we get a Twice full comeback in January,
I'd be down.
that'd
yo.
be a birthday present for me. Just saying.
Oh yes.
Let's go.
But that ends like the happy big sections. Let's talk about some oof section. I know we might get demonetized on YouTube, but we just gonna say the word.
Oh no, we can't say Mellow the 19 anymore.
No, this is the COVID-19 and K-pop
Oh,
update.
no.
So last week we covered this a bit. So Uptension's Bito and Kangyeol have now both tested positive for COVID-19. All other members of Uptension and their staff have tested negative and are self-quarantining. Bito and Kangyeol were confirmed positive on Monday, November 30th and Tuesday, December 1st, respectively. That is Korea time. The following artists, groups, and staff who were in contact with Uptension members at Show Music Corps and Inkigayo have also tested negative. This is the list. Aespa Akmu, April's Naeun, Bay 173, Bling Bling, B2B4U, CM Blues Younghwa, Cooing, Day 6, Even of Day, Drippin, Henry, Eyes1, Monsta X's Minhyuk, NCT, Norazo, Stacy, Stray Kids, Treasure Woods, and all of the staff at Show Music Corps and Inkigayo.
I want to clarify real quick. Early, it was Bero and Gogyol from Uptension.
Oh, Gogyo. Yeah, might be.
That's a lot of people.
There's like
So many people.
4 big Corona things though. So here's the second one. On December 1st, Yewa Entertainment announced that Everglow members Yerin and Xian have also tested positive for COVID-19.
Irin.
Oh yeah, what did I say?
Yerin.
Oh yeah, Yerin. The other members of Everglow are all going to be self-quarantining for 2 weeks. Everglow came into contact with a confirmed positive case on November 22nd and then recorded Yoo-hyeo's sketchbook on the 24th. So other guests who appeared on that episode included Gummy, Teen Top, Ju Hyun-mi, and Kim Hyun-chul. And all of the artists and staff related to the broadcast have been tested, and I believe they all came back negative as well.
Yeah.
I think Ju Hyun-mi might be in the danger zone with the age.
Yeah, she might be. Let me look that up real quick.
Right.
She's 60 years old, so yeah.
60, right. Kim Hyun-chul's early 50s, I think. So he's a little better, but...
So that was issue 2. So far, 2 Uptension members positive, 2 Everglow members positive. Next, all of the members of Pentagon tested negative following an incident where member Yo-won had been in direct contact with someone who did test positive. Hui will not be enlisting in the military on December 3rd, and his enlistment has been postponed as he is in self-quarantine following the recent events. So that's something else. The big one that broke today. So today on December 7th, Chungha tested positive after recently coming into contact with a confirmed positive individual. MNH Entertainment later stated that Chungha had been visiting a sports center for rehab on her shoulder injury. and made her last visit on December 2nd, and she was informed of a positive case at the center on December 5th.
Oh no.
So this obviously has widespread effects. So Daya's Cheon, Ujusonyo's Yeonjung, and Gugudan's Mina have all been tested after recently having dinner and contact with Chungha at Mina's house for which people believe was for Mina's birthday. So we don't know if this was all one interaction with Chungha or some like networked effect going on. But just so you know, Mina, Cheon, and Yeonjung plus all the Ujusonyo members have all tested negative so far.
Okay,
Additionally, Twice's Sana recently came in contact with Chungha, and as a result, the entirety of Twice and their staff were tested. All members of Twice and their staff tested negative, and Sana will be in self-quarantine for 11 days until December 18th. Momoland was also tested, and I believe they came back negative as they share the same hair and makeup salon as Chungha. Finally, in terms of Mama, the manager of Lee Jung-jae, who's a famous actor, and he was one of the presenters of Mama, his manager tested positive.
Oh, jeez.
And if we think about it, the award show was yesterday, so we had that quick of a turnaround where he needed to get tested. This has so many widespread net effects going on in K-pop right now. Right?
Yes.
It's a huge network. To be frank, I'm a little glad. It's as of right now on December 7th. You have 3 people confirmed for positive, right?
4.
2.
2 Uptension, 2 Everglow.
You just said, didn't you say earlier they confirmed negative afterwards?
No,
I said the other members.
Okay, never. Oh, okay. That's okay. 4. That's regardless. I think compared to the size of the entire industry and how often these people come in contact with each other, for that amount.
Wait, we have 5. Those 4 plus Chungha.
Right,
Oh,
5.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. It's getting a little worse every time.
Yeah, sorry.
But still, I think 5 people. I'm a little optimistic. Maybe it's not gonna increase by the time this episode drops. You know, like
Hopefully.
right. Hopefully, right. Like
I was really concerned about not just because I'm a fan, right? I was concerned about Sana in particular because Twice had been at both MMA and Mama. That would have had I think that would have been the straw that broke the K-pop camel's back for the rest of the year. I think that would have shut down the whole industry if that happened.
right.
I'm going to say something about Mama. There's a meme going on that we forgot to mention during the award show. They had a sanitation model out there. Anita, this lady was basically covered in like Reynolds wrap aluminum foil outfit. And she had this like hand vacuum sanitizer thing, and in between all the scenes, she was wearing like goggles and the face protection too, but she was in like a tinfoil suit.
My.
And she was like fumigating the Warren's basically doing it right now. She was fumigating the mic area the entire time. I also heard this is on the down low, more rumorville, that there's big concerns about how they handled Mama this year. All of the actor presenters had private rooms and stuff. They kept all of the idols in their cars in the parking lot.
Oh my.
And there's lots of pictures of stylists like hands through the window doing makeup to the kids sitting in the car and stuff.
Ooh.
Okay. I mean,
Is weird.
yeah, that's a little funky, given that the actors got their own room. But I mean, I get why they did it, but like,
Just saying. So getting back to COVID, right?
yeah,
My personal opinion is that it's kind of in the best interest if we kind of shut some things down a little bit, you know? Like, we almost had some particular super spreader events, right? Like,
yep.
Yeah.
Not a great look. And let's be honest with ourselves. K-pop is a non-essential thing for the country to run.
Right.
It's more of, it's an entertainment. It's a side piece.
Even with Mama though, right? Like, didn't MMA do their thing like separately?
Yeah, MMA was separate. Mama, when you won the award and you gave a speech, almost everyone wore masks during it.
Right.
MMA though, no, not as many masks.
Right. I mean, I was like, well, I was watching some clips about it, and I was like, couldn't they just, like, do this virtually? Like, what's the point? Yeah. What's the point?
Yeah, it is a little strange to me.
Yeah. I don't know.
Overall, though, I think we've said a lot of things about the coronavirus over the past few weeks, and I think the main thing is the only point that I want to say is if you haven't had it yet, right? Let's say, God forbid, you already had it. This probably doesn't apply to you as much, but if you have not had it so far, it would really suck to get it now after being so good for the past like 9 months.
Oh yeah.
Like, it would suck. Just be safe, everyone. That's all I'm going to
Yes.
say.
We're almost there. It's almost over, guys. Hang in there.
Let's move on to the quick takes, though. We have a lot of them again. End of the year, so much news. So,
Yeah.
Twice has now officially sold over 10 million albums in Korea and Japan.
Wow, 10 million albums. That's
That's
a
a
lot
lot.
of albums. Oh my goodness.
In terms of good COVID precautions, big hit labels announced that the offline portion, so the in-person portion of the 2021 New Year's Eve Live presented by Weavers has been canceled. So they will still be holding the online portion as scheduled on December 31st, but you can no longer buy tickets in person. I think that is 100% the correct decision.
Yeah.
If we're going to have it, it has to be like that.
Big brain move.
Other big hit umbrella news. So Source Music, home to G-Friend, has announced the 2020 Source Music Untacked Global Audition.
Okay.
Applications are open until December 20th, and girls born between 2002 and later can apply. Dude, we're boomers over here. they're 10 years younger than me. God damn. So, if you're and I believe this is all going to be done remote. So this is probably a lot of people's best chance because a lot of the times people are limited by travel to get to these auditions, but you might be able to audition over Zoom for them. Who knows? This could be life-changing for some of you. If you are a listener and you do make it to this audition and you do get famous, please come on our show and let us interview you. just saying. Next, Blackpink has announced their live stream concert, 2020 hashtag Blackpink the show, for December 27th at 2 p.m. Korean Standard Time. So that would be about 3 a.m. for us, I think, or something like that.
Goodness.
The announcement followed promotional materials earlier in the week titled, quote, The Invitation. So we're having the album, the invitation, and the show. Let's just triple down on the laziness, right, guys?
Not a fan
The
of
titles.
The yeah.
This next bit of news broke while we were recording. So Luna is confirmed to perform at Kiss FM's Jingle Ball Village 2020 on December 10th, I believe virtually, because there's no way they're flying them to America.
No.
They are the second K-pop girl group to perform at the show after Wonder Girls in 2009.
Whoa.
Wow.
So that is a big gap in time, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What I'm doing right now is I'm looking at my phone in our Discord if we have any news updates that I'm missing right now.
Oh, should I read the next one?
think
Rain and J.Y. Park reportedly going to release their new single as a collaboration duo next year on January 1st.
What?
Yeah.
But
What
then
is that?
Sublime Artist Agency, home to Rain, has stated that the schedule between Rain and JYP's duo release is still being discussed, and they will share the release date once it is confirmed. So we don't have the date 100%. People think it's the first, but it might not be. But pretty much the collab is confirmed.
It's a wild collab.
Wow.
Let's just say that. Like, look at
Yeah.
that lineup. Two legends.
yeah.
Teacher
So-
and student.
Yeah, teacher and student is one of the narratives I don't think everyone
Yes.
remembers, is that like JYP found and grew Rain into who he is now, more or
Yep.
less.
Yeah.
And they went their separate ways for a while. Rumors were it was a tiny bit contentious for a little bit. It seems to be really good now because I think Rain has a YouTube channel and JYP was on it with him at a certain point. So
Right.
they seem to be
Oh.
buddy again. So we're all good there. I think everyone realizes the mutual benefit to doing these collabs based on what happened with SOC 3 this year. I think they're both very smart dudes, and they realize this is a good decision. I'm also very hyped for it.
How could you not be hyped for this? This wild collaboration.
All right, this one's a little bit interesting. So SM Cultures and Content, so that's a SM subsidiary which pretty much does merch, right? They've launched a new global brand called Celeb Brand, which features celebrity-produced products. Upcoming items include Boa's Little Bird scarf and muffler, Super Junior Heechol's toothpaste, Suhyun's lip tint, and SNSD Yuri's home training equipment.
Ah.
So you know
Okay.
that SM town, Anita, you visited it, right? I visited in
Yes,
Korea.
yes.
I got you some brain nuts when I went this year.
Yes.
This seems to be an extension of that. and I think they're tripling down on the merch. You know, I like merch. I could get a boa scarf, you know?
Very interesting.
I hope they
Yeah,
make
out of
this
the box.
available to the international market. If they do, I think people are going to go ham with it. If not, maybe it will be primarily featured at the new SM Town, which is being built somewhere outside of Busan. So that could be a thing.
I mean, like, do we really need Hicho toothpaste though?
Bro, yes. we do.
Necessity, no. But
We do.
want, maybe.
Worldwide icon Hicho's toothpaste?
Exactly.
He's gonna scare away the cavities, fam. Lastly, 88 Rising has lost an Asian music radio channel titled 88 Rising Radio with Sirius XM, which is the distributor, which is a big one, right? It's the biggest one.
It's a big name. Yeah.
Yes.
K-pop artists such as BTS, Blackpink Twice, and Jackson Wang will reportedly appear on the channel. Additionally, there are plans to feature shows including variety podcast shows developed around Day 6's J.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Number one, Asian music radio channel. That's cool in itself. You know, 88 Rising is
Yeah.
the premier brand in terms of Asian American music at the moment. Including K-pop makes all the sense in the world because it is literally like the same market that you're trying to hit, more or less.
Right. Big overlap.
Also, if we remember last week, 88 Rising side Chungha, this is all
Yep.
work.
Yep.
This is their big plan, I think, for 2021. They're making moves.
They're making big moves. I still remember when there were this mystery YouTube channel, right back with like when they started working with like Rich Brian and like those kids. Like it was like, I was like,
Yeah.
who are these people? Who are these randos putting music videos online? Next thing I know, they're a huge music label. Wild people.
You know, they are tapping into a market that everyone kind of wants to hit. And who knows, maybe one day
Yeah.
they'll be the main distributor for like merch and stuff in the United States from these K-pop people.
That's
I think
true.
that's in the realm of possibility too, all
I
of
think
that.
so too.
But we are finally at comebacks and releases. Warren, hit us with them. There's a lot of them.
On December 9th on Wednesday, we have SF9, June K, as well as Jamie coming back. On December 10th on Thursday, we have Ghost 9, Chungha.
I don't know if
and
that
Big
one's gonna happen.
Yidin.
I don't know if the Chungha one's gonna happen.
Oh, yeah.
Originally, it was supposed to happen. We'll see. Lee Seung-gi is also coming back on that day. I didn't see because it was on the next page. But there you go. Lee Seung-gi is cool too. December 11th on Friday, we have One We. And the week after, on December 14th on Monday, we have Shiny's Taemin coming back with a solo.
Yeah, Anita, he's getting more stuff. Something to do with like
Yeah.
another album too, or some crazy.
She's doing a lot.
like
So
he's
many things.
combining his last two stuff and smashing it together and giving us more content on top of it, right? I believe.
Yeah.
Does he not enjoy taking risks?
No, he's
Wild.
taming. He's crazy.
Wild hustler. In other
this one-
confirmed release news, we have Taeyeon on December 15th, as well as Pegayon on December 24th. I paused there because Doug deleted something right.
Yeah, it was the June K stuff that we covered on on December 9th.
Okay.
Yo, we getting a Taeyeon release and a Baekhyun release? Maybe some winter ballads, perhaps?
Probably.
I feel like nowadays, end of December, Taeyeon, I kind of relate those two. You know, like she's had a couple Christmas songs. She came
Yeah,
back
I
last
don't
year
think
around this
we'll
year.
be able to cover those for our final like regular episode of the year on the 16th, but it seems like we will probably those will be the songs covered in our first episode in January whenever we do that. But normally right here you would get hot takes and fuego questions with Harold. I know we skipped it last week. There's going to be some changes with the segment. Real talk, it is the least favorite segment of the three of us. Let's just say that. It's not because we don't love Harold. We love Cousin Harold, although he has a bromance, love-hate relationship with Warren. You know,
I think
it is
only you like Harold. I don't like Harold.
all right. But we started off the
boy.
podcast having a segment called like it was essentially the main topic was what we were going to talk about. And after like 20-30 episodes, we decided let's never do that because we ran out of things to talk about, right? But then we hit
Some episodes, yeah.
season 2 and episode 50, and we made Harold, which is basically the same thing again. And we've done that for what is it now? 66 episodes.
Something like that.
We are struggling a little. I would say, right?
Right.
So we're gonna tone it down a bit.
We're gonna tone it down. That doesn't mean Harold's leaving, right? It means that we're going to open it up so that Harold is more of an optional feature of the podcast, meaning that if we ever get a cool topic or a cool question from one of the fans at home, something like that, or we think of a question ourselves, we'll do it instead of State of the Nation, which is remaining.
I think a lot of the problems we had was that you would have this topic, and we would say some stuff about it, but the problem really was that we were listening to it ourselves, and we were like, just feels like we're restating what's pretty much the obvious and just agreeing with each other, or disagreeing because we were confused.
Additionally, you have to think that at this point in the pod, you're normally like an hour and 20 minutes into just listening to us talk about K-pop. And although you might like us a lot and not be completely fatigued about listening to K-pop, for us at this point in the show, we realize that sometimes our energy levels and our comprehension would get thrown out the window a little bit. And we are making content for you, but I think we as content creators also have to make content that we want to make and enjoy making. And I think that making Harold more optional will allow us to have better Harold sections going forward instead of us feeling obligated every week to think of a topic and talk about it. So
when we have hot takes to say, when you have spicy stuff to say again, I think at that point we'll bring Harold back. And that's not to say he's going to be gone for like however many episodes. It'll happen eventually. But it might be a while before he.
Let's just say Harold's enjoying his Christmas break at the moment. Let's just say.
Yes.
But let's move on to State of the Nation. So again this week we're going to try to de-emphasize the K-pop guys. I know last year we struggled with it, you know. We were throwing around some topics. Next week we decided we're going to talk about Christmas and things like that, you know, the holiday season.
Why are you spoiling? Okay.
I mean, it's the holidays. Come on. I love the holidays.
Right. And then somehow we landed on the topic. We were talking about that. And then somehow we landed on the topic of, I think we first said Anita was like lawful good.
Yeah.
Right? That's
I don't know how I brought it.
Alignment.
Alignment. Right.
So if you don't know what an alignment chart is, it's used in like D&D and other just like character-based things and memes, of course. So there's two axes. The y-axis is you're either good, you're either neutral, or you're either evil, right? And in front of that, you either put that you're lawful, which means you act according to principles, neutral, act according to need, or chaotic, which means you act according to impulses, right? So we wanted to have a discussion about what we think each of the crew is and, you know, bounce that around a little bit. You know, Harold is, I want to say, chaotic evil. I think that's what he is.
Okay.
You have no clue what he's going to say, and it's always a hot take. So that's chaotic evil to a T, I would say. All right.
I think that's safe to say, given the amount of characterization we have with the lad.
Let's start off with what we think Anita is. So let's Anita, what do you think you are? And then Warren and I will say what we think you are. Let's do that. I think that's the most fun.
Well, I don't know if I can actually see it because I've actually taken like, I don't know, a random quiz that I found online a while ago. Because I think this conversation
already you're lawful good, Anita. You're relying on quizzes already. Like you're.
Yeah. So I already know what I was. I guess.
What were you given, Anita?
In that quiz, I was given lawful good.
Yeah, that's the most obvious thing in the world to me. Let's just say Anita acts by principle. For sure, right? And we all know Anita's everyone's favorite goody two shoes, right? So I think this is I think it would be more shocking if you had gotten anything else. I'm looking at a chart that I brought up, which has some famous entertainment characters, fictional characters. Superman is the one they put here. Anita, you are our Superman, woman, whatever you want to call it. That is you, Anita, to a T.
All right.
Wow.
I think
Do you
Anita's
also have death vision.
I think, well, maybe. Are we talking about the TV show The Boys? Because they have one of those, the Death Vision.
No, I meant no, Superman.
But I think Anita's very consistent. Like, you know what we're gonna get, and we know that.
Yeah.
I don't want to just give you superlatives. It's kind of awkward if I do.
Let's put it this way, Anita. What would you do? Let's say you had you ate a bowl of Chipotle. The fast food,
All
Mexican
right.
fast food, or pancheros since you'll enjoy pancheros more. A bowl. You had leftovers. What do you do?
I take them home. What do you?
No,
yeah.
no. But how would you repackage it?
Well, I would keep them in the container they came in. I think.
Okay, I guess that's kind of obvious.
What answer were you looking for?
Well, that's what I was thinking about. But at the same time, I was like, what else are you gonna do? Throw it in your bag?
Exactly.
That's actually
No, but
bad.
I feel like I understand where you're coming from because I feel like that's kind of the reaction where a lot of people would guess. Even family members would say yeah, you are that, and that makes sense because I am quite consistent. But for you guys, I think when we started talking about this alignment, it kind of began because of Doug explaining a situation he came across and how his thought process, right, and how it translated into this alignment chart, right? But I think it's so much harder for you to, at least for me, to align each of you because I think it depends a lot on the situation.
Oh, okay. I mean, I gotta exist somewhere though.
I know what I think I am, right?
Okay.
You can tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
On a scale of lawful, neutral, or chaotic, I think I'm lawful to a T.
All right.
Okay.
I have principles, and I try to follow them really hard. And I will do things to my detriment because I think it's how it should be. In terms of good, neutral, and evil, obviously it doesn't mean I'm an evil person or a great person. I think I'm quite neutral though. Where I think I'm lawful neutral is what I'm trying to say. Where I believe in justice and believes in the law, and does what they're told.
Big optimism right there.
I mean, I'm not saying that, but how I like order, right?
Right.
I agree with that.
Right. You set the rules and you follow the rules.
And
you follow the script.
It's another one of those things where if I say I will do this on this date, right?
Right.
I will die before I don't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have to do it. If I say
through.
I'm doing something, that's good and bad because it means that I rarely say I'm going to do something hard. I will hard agree to do something unless I'm 100% sure I could follow through on it. And that's good or bad. What do you agree that I'm lawful, neutral, or do you think I'm?
Yeah.
I definitely agree with the lawful part because I think that is what I most obviously on the show, on the podcast, I think you very much take that role of setting up the structure, right? And following through with that structure. So yes, 100% lawful. I was a little bit more iffy on the neutral's side. Yeah.
You think Doug is evil is what you're saying?
No, not evil. But I guess neutral is defined as depending on situations. Is that what neutral is?
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
Then I guess it does depend on situations. Then how you would make your judgment.
Okay, it's true. I can be pretty vindictive. Let's be honest here. For me, right? Let's get a little deep with this, right? I'm the type of person. If you're on my pion, you're in my line. You're on my team, right?
If we're
the
the
best
team,
person, if you're one of the boys, one of the girls, you're in the squad, right? You're gonna be taken care of, right? I will bend over backwards to try to help you out, right? But if you fall on the other side, you dead to me, literally.
Quick.
I am someone who will not hesitate to cut a bridge if I think I need to.
Oh,
or burn a bridge down.
Dang.
I very decisive about it, and although I do sometimes have regrets from doing it, I'm willing to make those decisions, right? So that's why I think it somewhat varies. What do you think, Warren?
No, I think I agree with that. Even that I feel is lawful, right? Because
Yeah.
you have your internal set of rules and you go by it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
All right, Warren now. Oh.
Now Warren.
Warren's the toughest out of the three of us. I really think he is.
I'm going to jump to say that somewhere in his alignment is chaotic.
I would agree with that. I think he's very okay. Like Warren, I think Warren is very impulsive. I think with me and Anita, generally, I think with me and Anita, you could generally predict what we're going to say or do with most things. Warren sometimes just says crazy stuff, and it's like it's all over the place. And some things you like bring it up to him, and he's like, yeah. And then sometimes he brings up something, and it's the most excited I've ever seen someone in my life. Like
What?
when we talk about Yumta or something, I've never seen someone more happy. See, like. But then other things, I'm like, yo, did you see what Twice did? He's like, yeah, Twice. I'm like,
What? I'm always excited about Twice.
okay, not Twice, but like something, right? I'll bring up, did you see what this group did? And you're like, yeah, it's pretty cool. And then you're like, yo, but Yumta, you're like, Baka. So I think it's pretty chaotic.
Do you agree with him, Anita?
I would say Warren's chaotic good.
I would, yes.
I think Warren's chaotic good.
Oh yeah. I would say that.
I think he is.
So this is how y'all view me. I see how it is. Well, I guess at least I'm on the good side.
What do you think you are, sir? Do
Yeah.
you think you're new? My other thing I was leaning towards was like, no, you're impulsive though. Like I was thinking chaotic neutral at the most, but I think you're chaotic good.
I've
Like,
never thought I was impulsive with my entire life.
I think you're very impulsive.
Well,
What do you think?
I think between y'all and doing the pod, I think I'm definitely on the chaotic good, right? Because because I know you guys.
Range.
Right. I sometimes I'll say random crap just for the sake of it. Like there's a lot of stuff I say off cam and it's never gonna make it into the show.
Warren, okay, let's be real. Warren tones back some things for the pod. Also he tones back things for me and Anita. I know this for a fact. Like we're Warren's like. How do I ain't gonna say his friends are immature, right? I like his friends, but like we're his
they're
like
immature.
we're Warren's like more adult friends and more mature friends, right? And I know he tones back the things he actually wants to say sometimes to us. I know this.
I mean, like a lot of people in life, I'm involved in multiple friend groups, composed
sure.
of different people. This is where I like to be, I like to feel like an adult, I like to feel like, wow, I'm a contributing part of society. Other parts, I'm like, oh, here's my trash can. Let's be degenerates. I'll be like, even here, I can't like. I think a big part of what it is, right? Like my MBTI results call me an INFJ.
Yes.
Right, and one feature about INFJ is that they are willing to morph their personality per context, per situation, per social needs here and there. And here, I know that even with a little bit of chaos, I can be the chaos man. Like that's where
true.
I take
Yes.
full on chaos emerald, go full Sonic, full speed ahead, roll around.
I took one of those this week. Whatever the
MBTI
personality test. I took it.
Yeah.
It changed.
Oh.
I got
it did?
ISTJ.
Oh.
I got 88% introverted, 70%
about
observant,
right.
70% thinking, 90% judging.
That's not good.
Is that not good? I don't know.
The judgment.
No. They say ISTJs and INFJs are never supposed to date. Not that you and I are gonna. But you get what I mean.
What are you implying, bro?
Compatibility is what I'm talking about. Right?
I feel like we're compatible.
Yeah.
What was that? Yeah. That was your chaotic good coming out, I guess. I don't really know.
I think in reality, going back to our little alignment chart, I think I'm more on the lawful neutral side a little bit.
What?
I don't.
Really?
I'm not
Really?
impulsive. No, I plan out everything. What are you guys talking about? Dude, I take millions of notes for the podcast. Like, what are you guys talking about? No.
Oh yeah, okay, I can see some.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like-
but you say things more on a whim. Like I'm 100% calculating everything I do in my life.
Right. Well, I guess I don't calculate everything I do, but like everything, for me at least, is in a line with what I would normally say. Like I
That's
have a
interesting.
set box boundary and I never leave that. In fact, what you said earlier, right? Like you said, you got a squad. if you win the squad, you in the squad. But if you're not in the squad, you're not in the squad.
You ain't
right?
in the squad. Nah.
For me personally, people who have been like rude to me or like people who have not been nice to me, I still give them the same considerations I would
Oh, hell no.
to like I'm fair opportunities.
More leeway, I see.
Oh,
Right. It's
you
like,
know me. I've talked to you about this, Warren. Like, there are people that we both know that I don't like, and they're literally dead to me. Like, I ain't gonna name anyone, but Warren knows that that's happened to some people. It's also just the way I function. For better or for worse. Sometimes it's honestly for the worst most of the time, but I'm just stubborn about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's good because like some people have been like, oh, but you're such a pushover, you know, like you're nice to people who hate you, but like at the same time, it's like I want to be like a fair person.
I have a good question for the SojuTalk Nation at home. For people who only listen to us on the podcast, let us know what you think our alignment would be based on how we are on the podcast. For people on the Discord who we do interact with all the time, let us know what you think we are on the podcast versus what you think we are in reality after interacting with us all this time on the Discord.
I feel like someone's gonna say I'm like chaotic evil or something because he didn't give one of the songs.
You didn't give Panorama number one?
Panorama. if that is the reason, I will take that as valid reasoning.
You know, I wasn't sure we would be able to talk about alignments on State of the Nation because we thought of the idea 5 minutes before we recorded. And honestly went okay to me. I think it was introspective about how we view ourselves, which I think a lot of the time the phrase know thyself is very important, and a lot of people aren't able to really do that a lot.
Yeah, that's really hard to do.
I really value someone who can really know who they are as a person. I think it sets you up for a lot of good things. I'm not saying that's us. I'm just saying that's how we perceive ourselves.
We would like to be that group of people.
Yeah, we would aspire to do that because I think if you know who you are, you could put yourselves in positions to succeed better. Overall, though,
real big brain.
I think so now that we've done it 1.5 times, not really focusing on K-pop and State of the Nation, I kind of prefer us doing it. To be honest,
let us know what you think.
I've had more fun in the State of the Nation than I've honestly had in the past like 20 of them. I'm gonna be real straight. Like, I think sometimes when you're forced to say, to give suggestions or say what you're doing in K-pop specifically, like some weeks, I got a lot of things that I'm doing in K-pop. I'm doing this content. I'm watching this. I'm really on this. But there's other weeks where got other things going on, and I think this is a good opportunity for the nation at home to not only get to know us better, but to also listen to how we feel about other things.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you are one of the people that like tuned in for the suggestions, we're not gonna stop doing them.
Don't worry about that.
Go check out the Discord. Anita's gonna be there. If you go follow us on Twitter, I'm gonna be there. Anita, if you want to use me as a platform to give recommendations, send me the message. I will.
Oh yeah.
Tweet it out.
I didn't shout out my Twitter. I know you've been shouting it out every week. I never gave my address. I haven't. The last time I gave out my Twitter handle was like 2 years ago or something. So it is twitter.com. Is that how it works? Twitter.com. I'm having a boomer moment.
Just give people the
Twitter.com/Doug92Kim. So that is my Twitter account. So go check that out. You could see a fun picture of Warren eating nachos on there if you want.
Oh yeah, that's a good time. We gotta talk about that at some point. That's a fun story.
Yeah, we also we have plans. We're gonna talk about food a bunch because food's great. I'm eventually gonna teach y'all how to make delicious potatoes too. So that's something to look forward in the future. But this has been SojuTalk, a weekly shot of K-pop. I think we've talked enough for the week. Next week, really quick preview. Maybe like SF9, Chungha if it happens, Baekhyun most likely, and Taemin. I think those are the biggest ones. Those would probably be the 4. If Baekhyun if Chungha doesn't release the song, we'll probably shift and do something else. But I'm Doug. I'd like to thank Warren and Anita for joining us this week. I did forget to mention that we had fan mail this week from Jade in England. Shout out to Jade.
Jaden.
No, Jade.
I'm sorry. Oh my goodness.
We had fan mail from Jade. It was honestly some of the kindest fan mail we've had in a long time.
That email. Yes, that was
one
very
of the
kind.
things she mentioned was that she likes listening to us because she doesn't have people to talk K-pop with, and that is 100% one of the reasons why we made this podcast.
That's
was
true.
that purpose
Yes.
was so that you at home, let's say you live in a place where K-pop's not prevalent, because I know it's a niche genre. You're listening to music from another country. It's a little bit taboo in places. We made one of the reasons why we do the podcast is so that if you don't got buddies to talk about K-pop with, we can be the proxy buddies. You could join our Discord if you want. You could talk to other people there, meet other people. But even if you don't want to join our Discord, just listening to other people's opinions about something you like oftentimes informs you about how you think about the topic.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty sure I've said this at some point somewhere, but the Discord it somehow has grown into a really close knit of friends. I don't know how.
Yeah, it has.
And sometimes I'm really surprised. And even if you're not in there, I'm really glad that we're able to fill that gap at certain points. Yeah, I think it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, you're kind of crazy too. And on that note, we'll see you guys next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Special shoutouts to our Fiesta patrons: Based Mina, Jedi, Goku Mama, Jacob, Luke Daniels, Malfiar, NJ Parks, OP, Chris, Tier. Thank you for joining SojuTalk, the weekly shot of K-pop. And special thanks to our Discord server mods: Jacob, K Music Erde, Koala, Malfiar, Max, No Bias Luna, Tuggles, and Wolf297.